we have headed a couple hours north to a place called Ubud, or Ubud, I think the locals call it. Already it's the Bali that we hoped for and expected before coming to Indonesia. It's definitely still as busy in terms of traffic, but the way it's laid out and the really nice cafes and restaurants, and it's got a bit more of just a laid back feel to it. The hotel we're staying in, some of the architecture and all of the temple-like structures just in the center of the hotel, it's something we've never stayed before, so really excited to explore this area. We've been here a couple of hours, and the lunch we had, it was one of the nicest Western foods we've had the entire trip, followed by a really nice gelato on the way home. So we are gonna head now to the, I think it's called the Kampuhan Ridge Walk. I probably again said that completely wrong, but this is a ridge walk that goes for a couple of kilometers and you get some really nice views. It's supposed to be amazing at sunset, so we've probably got about another hour and a half till the sun sets. I forgot to mention as well, this hotel has the cutest little puppy, and it's such a brave little creature. He popped into our hotel room and then wouldn't leave, so we had him in there for about half an hour. And they've also got birds in cages, they've got fish. It's probably the first hotel we've stayed at that's had an array of pets, and they all look really healthy and well looked after. And just as we said about the lovely puppy, here's another doggy.
Camera shy.
So we arrived at the start of the walk. It's fairly self-explanatory. You follow Google Maps, you can't really miss it. You just think you're going down the wrong street because there's a hotel on the corner, but if you just veer left to it, go down the hill, you then come to this ridge walk, and it looks really, really pretty. Free to get into, no one haggles you. So we're gonna start this 2-kilometer walk and hopefully get some really cool sunset pictures. So we've just got back from the Ridge View walk. A bit different to what we've experienced in terms of walks before at sunset. There was no sort of major payoff at the end with a mountain or a viewpoint. It was just a really nice couple-kilometer walk out of the way of all the traffic and tourism. There was a nice little bar at the end where we went up and saw sunset that was doing some really nice cold cheap drinks. I think if you carried on walking, it takes you basically just into the next village or town, so there's not much else other than that. But yeah, nice little walk. Definitely recommend doing it probably better at sunrise because you'd have less tourists and it's going to be cooler. It was a very sweaty walk, especially with some of the inclines, but overall decent. So we've come back out today, still super busy on the roads as you can hear. But the plan is today we're going to go to the markets, hopefully do another rice paddy sunset, even though it's quite cloudy, and we're about to go to the famous Surawatsi temple. So the temple itself is actually really, really pretty. It's not the biggest. You probably only need about 20 minutes there, if I'm being completely honest. It did used to be free, but now they're renovating it. They asked for 35,000, but like with the most of Southeast Asia, 35,000 is about just under £2. So it really isn't that much to go in. It is definitely worth doing. The tourist side of it is a little bit much. People trying to get the perfect photo in front of the temple, things like that. But it's the same anywhere. I love the traditional dress code. I think that's lovely with the sarong and the kimono. That's really, really nice. And one last thing, there is a restaurant right next to the temple, and I'm assuming, we haven't eaten there, that you can get a table right by the lotus pond and watch for free. So that's definitely a hack if you fancy saving yourself 70,000 for 2 people. We're now heading towards all the markets, and we're gonna have a little wander around them for a bit and see if we can pick up some little goodies and maybe another country's flag to stitch onto our backpacks. The back streets of Ubud and their markets, especially at sunset, are unbelievably beautiful. Probably the nicest market that we've been to in terms of the smells.
Not the nicest.
The smells of the incense, the fact that the sun was setting, it was nice and clean, there was some really nice stuff on offer. It's a beautiful, beautiful place when you just get off the main roads. It's lovely. Honestly, it's not just in Bali, the entire Southeast Asia, they will get down places you wouldn't even dream of. Cars, bikes, you name it, they will find a way to get through. How that car just fitted down this side street, I'll never know. Morning one and all. So we're on the way to the Perta Temple up in North Ubud, and the sat-nav has taken us down a quieter road, not the main sort of highway that gets you there, so it's going to take an extra sort of 5-10 minutes. However, very glad Google Maps knows its routes, because we are just driving through the most beautiful landscape. There is the odd moped on the road, literally just one coming past now. Think about centre Ubud and how busy it is with traffic, and we've come 15 minutes out of town and there's just rice paddies everywhere. So we just arrived at the temple. Tickets are 50,000 each, which is about £2.50, $3 to $4. So one of the more expensive places to go, but when it's $3-4 and we're saying it's expensive, that just shows how cheap attractions are over this part of the world. just sitting there having lunch by that massive fish pond. Not seen fish like that size in that close proximity before. There's thousands of them all scrambling for a little bit of fish food. But anyway, that was probably one of the most special things I've done before in terms of like a religious element. I myself am not religious in the slightest, but I do have a understanding of what religion means to people, and to me it means sort of calming and thought-provoking. Whenever you go to a temple or to a cathedral at home, it's always nice just to sit there and reflect and relax. But there's something really special about immersing yourself in water and the cleansing element and thinking about loved ones. It was special. It was really, really nice. Do definitely come early though, because it gets very, very busy. Carly took some fantastic shots, and some of them towards the end there was queues upon queues to get into water. So I definitely recommend coming between 8 and 10. It does open from 7, even though online says 8. So definitely get here early and take advantage of it before all the tourists rock up. That last video doesn't prove that you need to get here early. It's what, 12, 1 o'clock now?
Half 12.
Half 12. And when I went in about 10 o'clock, probably 1 or 2 deep. Bit of a queue, but not too bad. Now they're 5 deep queuing for each fountain. Oh, it just takes the shine off it, doesn't it? I thought it was really special when we went in, and yeah, definitely get here early, my God. So on exit to the temple, you get flung into this maze of stalls, like a market, bit like a Chatuchak market style. But every single person is just flinging prices at you. It's quite a bit intimidating, really. But you just gotta see another one here. No, thank you. Offering bananas and another one. You just gotta unfortunately take the motion out and just walk past them, because you don't need any bananas. I think we're over. Yeah, I don't. In terms of the temple, however, that was absolutely stunning. Really, really good. I think what sets it apart as well, probably 2 things. The environment being set in with all the jungle was really pretty, and secondly, it's probably the cleanest temple we've been to. Plenty of bins, no rubbish on the floors, no random bits of litter in the corner. Just a really nice, well-maintained temple. So an absolute must if you come to Ubud. That was a nice few hours well spent. Stop number 2 for today. Honestly, the drives between the places off the beaten track, away from the tourists and the traffic, is right up there with some of the prettiest views we've seen on the scooter so far in this trip. It's 25,000 per person to get in, so it works out about £1.50, $2 to $3 a person. So again, nice and cheap. Park up is free, that we know of. And we're just heading down towards the waterfall on this lovely little route through the trees. The Seminyak waterfall was really, really nice. I kind of like the fact it was a little bit smaller. You only probably got at once 20 people, so it didn't feel too cramped and touristy. it was a 5-minute walk down to the waterfall and back. So yeah, really, really pretty. We have come to a restaurant called, I think it's La Yuna Warung. It's literally 2 minutes away from the elephant caves. We saw it on Google reviews and the views are absolutely epic. You're not going to get a better view of a waterfall. So we've just arrived at the third and final stop, the Goa Gajar Temple, also known as the Elephant Caves. I think it's 50,000 to get in, we'll find out in a sec, but it's only 2,000 to park, just like the last place. So that's 2,000 is about 20p, so it really isn't worth avoiding. You might as well just pay the gentleman. So tickets were 50,000 each, so again about £2.50, $3 to $4 each. You actually can get the sarong in, just like a lot of the temples, free of charge. So ignore all the hagglers and the sellers. When you first arrive in the car park, they try and drag you to their coffee shop, make you pay for a sarong. So do your reviews before you come, because you can avoid those charges. So that cave, according to a lot of the stuff we've read, dates between the 9th and the 11th century, which is mind-boggling that you can still go in a cave that old. These caves are actually part Hindu and part Buddhist, which is fascinating because we've seen all the Buddhist temples in Thailand, and now we're getting to see a load of Hindu temples in Bali, in Indonesia. So this is the first place where it's got a mix of both, so we're just going to head from the Hindu side over to the Buddhist side. This walk down to the Buddhist side is absolutely stunning. Helps the fact that the sun is just glistening over the top before it goes down. Wow. Honestly, all three things we've done today are a must in Ubud. Get them on your list. The temple, the waterfall, and now these caves. They're all absolutely stunning, cheap to get into. They're relatively on one route back to Ubud when you start at Turta Empel on the way out, first thing in the morning. 10 out of 10, all three. Fantastic. Ignore all the hate on the reviews, they're totally worth it. One last tip, make sure you go right down past the waterfall, right out away from the caves, and you get this most beautiful view of the river right down at its base. Honestly, this is one of the nicest temple caves waterfall combo we've had this entire trip. An absolute must, the Elephant Caves, Goa Gajur, get it on your list. Morning one and all, another day exploring.
Have a ticket.
This one's fancy, Carly will probably keep this one.
Yeah.
So we come to the famous, I think you say Tenunganam waterfall. Again, I'm really bad at pronouncing these waterfalls, but this is like top 5 on TripAdvisor, so it's fully kitted out, full tourist mode, there's shops everywhere. You even get the stamp, so this could be promising, but busy. waterfall is very, very nice. It does get quite busy as it's a very highly rated waterfall, so there is a lot of tourism here. Also a lot of commercialism. We're just going past the bar with the music. That's been new built, you can tell, for the area as well. So yes, the main waterfall, you can probably spend 1 to 2 hours there. It is coming to the back end of their main peak season, so the rain will start coming in the next few weeks, so the waterfall actually will look better probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks. It was on the quieter side, which sounds crazy because it was still a massive waterfall, but definitely worth the visit. 20,000 a person, that's not that much to go in. We've now just gone couple of kilometers up the road to a second waterfall, also 20,000 each to get into. This one though looks a lot quieter. There's only a handful of scooters in the car park, so we might get this one more or less to ourselves. That's powerful. So the second waterfall was absolutely amazing, probably the best of the day, but more on that another time, because we have actually come at the back end of the day to the famous monkey forest. It's rated #1 on TripAdvisor, so of course you've got to come. We've just come in nice and late, so it's pretty quiet at 4 p.m. It shuts at 6, so hopefully we should get some really nice photos of all the monkeys. Oh. So this place is actually massive. They've got such a vast area to roam, and it feels like they can just come and go as they please. There's no high fences, nothing like that, but they're clearly well looked after because they've got no reason to leave. This is just an endless acres upon acres of place for them to roam and squabble and fight and steal locals' drinks and food. So those 4 monkeys in that cage are actually all blind, because in the wild snake venom got in their eyes and they couldn't save them. So instead of saving their eyes, they've saved them and put them in their natural habitat, but kept them caged to be safe, so they're familiar with their surroundings. It's quite sad, really.
Yeah. He tries to get the button.
Oh.
I'm not doing anything. This place is fantastic. 100% I can see why it's number one on the list. It is beautiful scenery. There is, I think, 1,200 monkeys here. It is well worth coming. And a bit of advice, come late, because you get that sunset glow and the place is empty and you pretty much get the whole thing to yourself, and there is just monkeys upon monkeys everywhere. Look at them. So we are back, just editing another video that's hopefully going to go out the next day or two. Just wanted to mention the food place we went to tonight. I think it's called Angel Warung. Now, I believe these warungs are just tiny little restaurants that are dotted around all of Ubud, and they can only fit about 10 to 15 people in, 4 to 5 tables. And honestly, the food is absolutely incredible. We had some traditional Balinese food tonight and it was super tasty. We're probably going to go back there at least one more time before we leave Ubud, but definitely check out all the warungs that you see dotted along the streets. They are totally worth it. We are at the Tegangalang rice terraces. These are the most famous ones in Ubud, and they get apparently very busy. All the reviews say to come early, and we did. We've been here, it's about 6:45 and the sun is just creeping over the mountains. It looks absolutely stunning. We've beaten the rush because everyone charges to get in, and apparently these rice terraces are free, so you've got to beat all the scammers and the tourists to get the best views, and we certainly look like we've done that. There is stalls everywhere. There's a stall down there to pay for the swing and the nest. There's another stall there that's going to charge you to sit on that nest. There's another nest over there and a swing. You've got an infinity pool. So they've definitely converted this into a place where it's get as much out of the tourists as possible. But we're going to see if we can get in, get some shots and get gone as quickly as possible. See, they're not stupid. That's the price, and before they get here start charging, they've even gated it up. Oh. In heaven. Honestly, look at this little beauty. The rice paddies couldn't get any better. Another charge station, look. We're beating the crowds. So round the top on the outside there is a trekking path, but we're not sure if it does go the whole way around the rice terraces, and later in the day there is multiple stations where they try and charge you extra to do the walk. So my recommendation is again to come early and to skip all of those huts where they charge you extra, and you should be able to see a lot of the trail. Again, don't know if it goes all the way around, but do still get some fantastic shots if you go to parts of it. Right, we're leaving. We've been here about an hour and a half, so it's only about 8:15, but already it's getting really, really warm and we're starting to sweat, so time to go. Here she comes. Here comes the pampered princess. How long have you been waiting for this? So Carly's finally got her luxury.
So nice.
It's cost 50,000 each to get into, but then they very quickly try and tell you that a bed is 2.5 million, which I think is
Minimum spend.
It is, yeah, minimum spend. I think that's about 200 quid. I could be wrong, but either way, it can very quickly get expensive. So if you're backpackers like us who want to do it on the cheap, just get the blue wristbands, 50,000, and you can get in all the pools, no problem. Enjoy the views, and we'll probably get a little bit of breakfast from here as well, and then leave before it gets too busy and too expensive. If anyone wants to know our itinerary for this morning, we got to the Talangalang rice fields at 6:30, and we got out of there by 8 o'clock before they started charging. We actually got in and out without being scammed once, and then we got here for 8:30. So I think we've actually smashed the order. There is hardly anyone in this pool. There was hardly anyone at the rice terraces, and we got all of that for 100,000. So we saw all the reviews and the Instagrams, and we just thought it was a complex of the pool, but it turns out it's so much bigger than this. They can cater for so many more. They've got their own rice terrace, they've got swings, they've got couple swings. It's a massive place, and for 50,000 you can definitely get your money's worth here, that is for sure. So we end up spending the entire day in that pool at Kretja, and it's just the coolest place. It is on the pricey side. It's probably the most we've spent on lunch and drinks at one place, but it was totally worth it. The views are absolutely incredible. Sorry, Kylie's getting distracted by a dog. But it's our last evening in Ubud before we move on, so we're going to see the sunset in the rice paddies, and then we're gonna head for dinner. So yeah, bit sad to be leaving really. It's probably one of our favourite places I've been to so far. Apart from the traffic, that's one thing. Constant. So if you walk down this street that's right next to the Sarawatsi temple, next to Starbucks, you'll see it. You can't miss it. Big arch as you walk through. You've got this massive long walking street. I think it's the official art street. I'm not 100%, but it should, when you get to the end of it, take you out through to the rice paddies ready for sunset. And then when you get to the top of it all, you get a beautiful view of all the rice paddies as the sun's setting. You get a couple of benches to sit on, and just, as Carly said, a couple of dogs, and you can just sit down and watch the sunset. It's not really an attraction of sort, it's just a road that takes you through a market out the other side, but it's beautiful. And with that, I think that is the perfect ending to this video of Ubud. Honestly, completely blown away by this place. This is exactly what I hoped for, and Carly did as well when we came to Bali. It is just absolutely stunning. Slight downside, the traffic and the barking dog. I know, mate, I know. So yeah, I hope in this video you've seen just how awesome this place is, and you've got to come here if you're heading this way towards Indonesia. Ubud, Bali should be right at the top of your list. Thanks for watching this one. I hope you've got right to this point and watched the whole video. God knows how long it's going to be once I've finished editing it. And we'll see you in the next one when we go to